Good evening, good afternoon, all. I'm Nilesh Hiremat, and I'm going to be your guide for a journey that we are going to take for the next 45 minutes. This journey we actually bring to you as a part of the uh, tree mapping activity that we have been conducting for the last more than a year, and more than 150 people have voluntarily joined on their own accord. And the treasure that we have found, we cannot contain it. I mean, it's going to be visible in the presentation also. So the crux or the nutshell, in nutshell, I would say this exercise uh, has a rhyming with a character of Pula Deshpande, Hari Tatya. Hari Tatya, when you imagine one one sentence pops up, Puravani Shabit Karin. So Puravani Shabit, Hari Tatya was a character created by Pula Deshpande, who used to kind of live in the past and bring images of that to to the kids of Pula Deshpande's age, and he used to tell stories about Maules and about Shivaji and all their activity, and as though in sentence you should say, I have seen this in front of my eyes, and he used to top up say Puravane Shabit Karin. So the documentation uh, through EpiCollect, etc., we should be able to rhyme with this. Now I hand over the presentation to Priyanka. Thank you.
Thank you, Nilesh Dada. Um, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us to learn about our citizen-led biodiversity project along the Mula River. After Nilesh Dada's wonderful story, I'm excited to share why the Mula River's riparian habitat is so special, and we are working to protect it. Our goal is to inspire you to join this vibrant community effort to preserve this thriving ecosystem. Let's go on to the next slide. Ayushi. Yeah. So this is the brief agenda. We'll dive into the Mula River's unique habitat, which is called the riparian habitat, explore its rich flora and fauna in terms of the bird diversity mapping and the tree mapping that we have done, as well as the citizen participation that has been there in a wonderful amount, and also the next steps, what we look forward to in the coming months. So we know that ecosystem or biodiversity is basically the name given to a variety of species in a particular habitat, and they all function together to sustain the environment and also ultimately our human economies and societies. So we have terrestrial ecosystems, as we know, and like forests, deserts, mountains, etc. And then we have aquatic ecosystems. So you have your seas and oceans, rivers and lakes. That is the freshwater habitats. And a very unique ecosystem is the riparian zone ecosystem. And our Mula River is the very same example of a riparian ecosystem. It is a biodiversity hotspot beaming with life. It has plants, animals, and the ecosystem is in itself vital for a healthy environment and our well-being, providing benefits like clean water and food. And under India's Biodiversity and Wildlife Protection Acts, it becomes our responsibility to protect these habitats. So I would like to point out here that this is not just a project or uh, an a weekend activity that we do, but it is our very responsibility to protect. And thankfully, the Mula River's riparian zone is in pretty good shape right now, and we must protect it as much as possible. So, what does the riparian zone do for us? So, the riparian zone is basically the land and river interface, and here is where the magic happens. This area is also known as ecotone. That's a transition zone between transition zone where land and water meet, and create an edge effect that supports an incredible variety of life. So you can see karanj, walunj, and all kinds of lush green trees, colorful butterflies, and birds like the river tern. So uh, let's go on to the okay, no, sorry, excuse me. So what it does is, the roots going into the water, the tree roots going into the water help purify the water, maintain the water temperature for the water animals, and also maintain the overall temperature of not just the riparian zone, but of the entire city. In our case, the Pune city, we are blessed with a wonderful weather here, and we are also blessed with many migrating birds visiting the environment, the ecosystem here, and we wouldn't want to miss out on such great visitors, I guess. And as I said, uh, especially given the rains, this habitat is in great shape, and if you join us in large numbers, we would be successful in preserving it in the years to come. So, yeah, also, if you want to learn more about the riparian ecosystem, there is a webinar done by Monali Tai a few weeks back in the same Wednesday series that we are now a part of. And yeah, inform yourselves of the same. So, this project maps the vibrant ecosystem through citizen science and documenting its trees and birds, and not just that, but also the butterflies and snakes and other species, helps us with the conservation efforts. And over 150 volunteers have joined us in this effort till date, and we look forward to having more of you with us. So, I hand over the presentation to Kedar and Sumit to talk about the birding efforts that have been done.
Hi, thanks, Priyanka. And so I'll talk a little bit about the birding effort. So we have, so the tree effort actually has been going on for a longer time. But our birding effort we started, a few months ago. So from April onwards, we really started bird watching on the Mula River. Before that, a lot of birding effort has already been done for the Ram Mula confluence, but it was concentrated only on the Ram Mula confluence. So we thought that we should map even the PCMC side of the Mula. So what we have started doing is at every 250 meters along the river, we do a 15-minute point count. And so we do this. We have set a protocol so that it can be repeated, if necessary, over seasons, over years, and it can be comparable. So we did this exercise. So along with this exercise, plus the birding that has happened at RMC. So at RMC, we also this year for during the Great Backyard Bird Count, we also invited a lot of people, citizens, to participate in our bird walks, which Ajay and Sanjeev especially took the initiative to lead it. Actually, Ajay and Sanjeev have been and Aarti have been like the pillars of the bird watching on the Mula River, and they have been very consistently documenting birds there. In short, what did we find? So, around 150 plus participants participated over 9 kilometer stretch of the Mula over a course of 6 months. So, this is 6 months data. Yeah, so in just 6 months, so if we consider just 6 months data, 118 species of birds have been documented, which is a very, very high number. The total number of bird species found in Pune is around 200, 250. So, half or more than half, you can say at least half the number of species found in Pune are found on just this 9 kilometers of the Mula river. So out of which 21 are migratory birds, and there are 6 species that are protected under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act. So under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act, highest protection is given to these species, which means any harm done to these species or their habitat or their nests, attracts a very high penalty. Similar to what your penalty would be done if you say harm a animal like a leopard or a tiger, because they are also Schedule 1 species. And then there are 3 species on the IUCN red list. So IUCN publishes this red list of species where they have a list of species which are threatened or which are endangered. So out of which 3 are on the IUCN red list, which is river tern, woolly-necked stork, and black-headed ibis. River tern is also a Schedule 1 species. So it has a double tag. So it's a Schedule 1 species and a vulnerable species according to IUCN, which is actually quite sad because river tern used to be a very common species across rivers across India. But a lot of habitat modification and especially illegal sand mining has been affecting populations of the river tern. And then recently, a report was published called the State of India's Birds Report by this big partnership of different organizations working in conservation. So, according to them, also there are 5 high conservation priority species and 10 moderate conservation priority species found among these 180. So, quite important in terms of bird life if you see the data. Next, Sumit.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kedar. Thank you for explaining all the technical stuff so that I can now share my experience of being engaged with this bird activity. So, hello everyone. My name is Sumit Swami, and I recently started birding just around 7 to 8 months back. So, all these bird walks that have happened at RNC, and after that, this bird mapping exercise around the Mula River has been uh, first of its kind experience for me of mapping the bird systematically and formally. And it's been a great learning experience for me to be connected with such great people and being part of walks led by so many amazing people. And also a few kids who had led some walks during the GBBC. So, I mean, that was really a wonderful experience for me. So yeah, getting connected with the nature, birds, and also such amazing people was really amazing. And yeah, as you can see in this picture, like we have covered different parts of this 9 kilometer stretch, and most of the bird activity that we have seen has been on the part where we still have the riparian ecosystem intact. The part where the riverfront development work was happening, we hardly saw any bird activity. And even in this picture, you can see like the picture on the right hand side is from the Aund stretch where the forest is still intact, and even the flora was such diverse and rich, and even we saw a lot of birds uh, on that part. Can you go on to the next slide? Yeah, so all along these 9 kilometers of stretch, I mean, although it's a riparian zone, but I think we observe a lot of diverse and unique ecosystem where there is dense riparian forest. There are some grassland patches. There are mud flats. There are some islands that get created once the monsoon water recedes. So we see a lot of diverse variety of birds. Like we have water birds like common or Eurasian coot. We have rudi shelduck, which usually nests in Ladakh, but then flies over Himalayas and then come to this part of the country. Then we have purple heron, night herons. We saw a lot of. It was a beautiful sight when on one of the walks we saw more than 10 painted storks flying and together. Then we also have very amazing forest bird species like forest wagtails was one of the highlights during this GBBC. And if I'm not wrong, I think in Pune this was the only sighting of forest wagtails during the GBBC. Then we also saw forest birds like Indian paradise flycatcher, Ticklesbill flycatcher, tree pie. We also saw a lot of grassland birds. Like we could always hear gray francolin calling somewhere at the distance. We couldn't see the yellow wattle lapping, but I have heard from Sanjeev sir and Aarti that they have sighted the yellow wattle lapwing on the other side of the bank where the RFD work had started. And this year they couldn't see it. So I think yeah, that was something uh, we missed this time around. And then one important part was we also saw a lot of nesting activity there. We saw young ones of the night heron, which shows that they are nesting there. Then we saw Eurasian moorhens nesting activity. We already know that gray hornbill and spotted hornbills also have been nesting on this patch along this river. So yeah, we saw a lot of nesting activity, which makes this ecosystem all the more important. So yeah, just to share, like, because of this, the riverfront development work that is happening, there are steep slopes which have got created, and I think that makes the accessibility to the river very difficult for a lot of the bird species. And also, the municipal corporations have mentioned that they'll plant the forest, but again, all these different ecosystems will get lost, and I think that will really harm the bird biodiversity along the stretch. And to summarize my experience, I mean, all this 6 months being engaged and being birding at the RNC and along the river patch has been wonderful experience for me, listening to a lot of stories around birds from different experts who have come along. Then, seeing the gray Indian hornbill feeding its young ones towards in the late evening, seeing like five spotted owlets cuddling together. I think all has been really exciting and wonderful experience for me. And like over this span of 6 months, my understanding of birds and nature overall has drastically improved, and it really has got me hooked to the bird. So thank you, Jeevit Nadi, for this wonderful experience and initiative.
Thanks, Sumit and Kedar, for talking to us about the bird diversity. My name is Ayushi, and I'll start off by talking about what we do in our tree mapping sessions. So I started with tree mapping in April of this year, so just 2-3 months. And I've been to around 6 sessions. And I'm no expert at all. I knew nothing about the river, nothing about the trees before I joined, and it's phenomenal how much I've learned in this period. Even though I live just 1 or 2 kilometers away from the river, I had no idea who this river is, who the trees around it are, and it's been transformational. Getting to know about the ecosystem that I'm a part of and what role these trees play in this planet. So I'll take you through the method that we follow in our tree mapping sessions. We meet on the weekends in the morning for around 2 hours, around 8 to 10. Typically, we have 2 volunteers grouped together. So one will be a newer volunteer, and the other will be somebody who's more experienced, who has knowledge of the trees, etc. And it's a mixed group, so there are just normal citizens like me, some botanical experts, some with some enthusiasts and naturalists who know about the tree species in the area. And what we do is we gather data about the trees. It's a very simple and scalable system. So there is this app called EpiCollect 5, and we have a project on that, which has been designed for this activity. So we collect the data like the species of the tree. So here our experts help us to identify, and I think after a while you kind of start understanding yourself how to identify a tree from the bark, from the leaves, etc. And in a specific region, what we observed was that there were typically a few species of trees that were abundant, and then there might be a few species that were slightly different. So that then we measure the girth of the tree using just a measuring tape. The height, we get like a rough estimate. So say I am 5 feet tall. So I would estimate that, say, this tree is 5 Ayushis tall. I'll just note that down. And we gather images of the leaves, the entire tree, the surroundings of the tree, and we upload all of that into the app. So I'd say it would take around maybe 4 or 5 minutes to document one tree. If you're like after a while, you become even faster, and maybe you document one tree in 2 minutes. So yeah, that's what we do. We collect other information as well. Like if there is a number identifying the tree marked there by the government, we note that down. Things like, say, maybe nesting activity near the tree, or if we notice any bird feathers. I remember we saw a couple of peacocks near trees at one point. So we note that down. And in the time that I've been there have been, new volunteers every time. So there's been around more than 200 people who've participated. And yeah, it's not just about, gathering the data. It becomes a community experience where, you get to know other people. We do things like have breakfast together after the session. Nilesh sir plays his flute, which is the highlight of the entire activity. And also how the different stretches have different characteristics. So one stretch has very dense forests, others have more sparse forests. In areas where there's been more construction, there's lesser diversity in terms of the trees we observed. So that's kind of tree mapping in a nutshell. And it's also interesting how it's been a experiential learning activity. So I didn't know anything about trees, but even the way that we learn how to identify them, right? So for example, there is a shrub called nirumbi, and it has a blue fruit. So that's when you correlate blue to nirumbi, and that's how you kind of learn about these trees. For example, my mother makes gond ke laddu every winter, and we get that gond, which is essentially the gum of the babul tree, in packets. And here, when I went for tree mapping, I could actually see that gond coming out of the trees, and I was like, wow. So it really, sets your environment and what nature provides us in context. So yeah, and one more thing that Prashant sir has helped us to do is map all the data that we've gathered about the trees along a map. So I can actually show that to you. Yeah, so this is, it kind of visually represents how, where we've mapped the trees and, what the diversity is. So I think so far we've done 4 stretches, 2 on the PMC side and 2 on the PCMC side. So this is near, like just after the Aund Bridge in Pimpri-Nalak, in the Bharat Electronics colony. So I think this is military area or something. So there hasn't been much construction here. So this area was really beautiful, just large patches of trees, nothing disturbing them. Yeah, this is the RMC stretch. And here, the stretch is in Balevari on the PMC side, and this is in Pimpri-Nalak. So this is where we stopped last before the monsoon started. And around, I think 80% of it is done. So once the rain stop, we plan on completing the stretch and then continuing on to Wakad, I think. And so we'll probably need some help with people who live in Wakad to identify access points and, get permissions to access the riverbank area. Yeah, and now I'll hand over to Raghunandan. He'll tell you about some of the, observations and results that we've obtained through the data that we've collected about all these things.
Thank you, Ayushi. This is Raghunandan. Let's dive into statistical part of tree mapping. We documented around 3,483 trees, 3,483 trees, representing 89 tree species. To give perspective to this biodiversity, we use 3 indices. First is Shannon-Weiner index, second is Simpson index, and third is Pylos evenness index. Shannon-Weiner index at 2.24 shows moderate diversity along riparian zone. Simpson index at 0.77 shows that there is no single tree dominating in that area. and Pylo's evenness index at 0.50 shows that fair distribution of different tree species in mapped area. This is all about diversity, but they also play a role in ecology. They sequestered carbon around 61.8 tons, showing carbon sink, Mula River as a carbon sink. They also contribute in dry biomass, which is around 128.8 tons, shows their ecological weight. We observed top 5 species according to number are Karan, Subabul, Babul, Umber, and Vilaiti Chin. But when we converted these numbers in carbon sequestration, top 5 species are Karanj, Umber, Babul, Amba, and Vilaiti Chin. And there is one fun fact. If you will see this pie chart, we have only 60 umber trees, full-grown umber trees, and we have more than 600 subabul trees.
Sorry,
But
sorry, I
if
cannot
we,
see the pie chart. The pie chart you are referring to? Can you show that?
sorry, this pie chart is about numbers. This pie chart shows top 5 species are Karan, Subabul, Babul, Umber, and Vilaiti Chins. Next slide. This bar chart shows carbon sequestration. In terms of carbon sequestration, top 5 species are Karanj, Umber, Babul, Amba, Vilaiti Chin. If we talk about number and carbon sequestration, 60 full-grown umber trees beat 600 mid-growth to full-growth subabul trees in terms of carbon sequestration. This shows importance of riparian native species. These are not just numbers, they tell the story of vibrant riparian zone that supports wildlife, purify water, stabilize river bank. Next slide. These are some photographs taken by volunteers like Ajay Umkar sir, and others. We saw transition, we saw falling of leaves of deciduous trees. We saw blooming of currants. We saw this beautiful picture in riparian zone. Now I will request Malvika to show light on community aspect.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Hi, my name is Malvika. I joined these tree mapping efforts around 2 months ago as part of my research on river activism in Pune. And as some of my colleagues have already touched upon, this tree mapping is not only about data collection, but it's also a place where people come together and create a community. So I'll share a bit about what I've observed here. So the way in which I noticed it first that this was actually a whole community thing was sharing breakfast after each session. So the first time I came, I was quite surprised that somebody brought like a big box of pohe and everybody was eating and exchanging ideas. And then the flute playing started. And this one particular day, we were sitting in the jungle, like not in the jungle, but in the woods. And Nilesh Dada was playing the flute. And then another volunteer performed a song written by a famous like, social activist in India, and everybody was like very engaged in the fight and the whole activity, and it was really beautiful. And one thing that one volunteer once said was, while we were tying the ribbon around the tree, is tying this ribbon around the tree feels like tying a friendship bracelet. And then 1 week later, another volunteer said, it's like Friendship Day is every Saturday. So I think that this meant making friends with the trees, but also making friends with each other. And especially now with the rains, another volunteer told me that he was actually really sad that the mapping stopped, because I think it has become kind of a fixed agenda, like a fixed thing in everybody's weekly agendas. And I think everybody's looking forward to continuing after the rains end. And for me personally, it has been really special to join these tree mapping sessions, because I've been learning a lot about Indian trees and the ways in which these ancient knowledges, like Ayurvedic knowledges, and how how the trees are used and how the plants are used, like neem and babul, and for different trees are used for different festivals, like Gudi Padwa, and I can't explain too well right now, but for me personally, it has been very special. So yeah, for many, tree mapping is more than just recording data. It's a place and time where we gather as a community to exchange thoughts, make friends, fight for a cause, and also have a good time. And next slide, please. So the next steps are to complete the tree mapping at the 9-kilometer stretch from Baka to Sangvi, and then complete the entire Mula stretch in Pune. And some other groups are going to plan to cover tree mapping along Indrayani and Pauna riverbanks. There's going to be continuous bird observations at Ramula confluence, and there's a new hydrology initiative to document the river water levels. And if you are inspired by this movement and you want to join the efforts, there are multiple ways in which you can do so. So for example, tree mapping, you can join the tree mapping on the weekends. You can identify access points for the rivers in Pune where the tree mappers can then go and start mapping. And if you cannot join sessions physically, you can stay online and support the ground team in identifying trees and other species. And you can, of course, replicate this model at other rivers, because it's always important to know your biodiversity. And you can raise awareness in your societies and circles and encourage citizens to join this cause. And bird observations, you can observe birds at riverbanks near your place and submit checklists on eBird, and you can join and conduct various bird walks. Other initiatives include participating in new citizen science initiatives for monitoring water levels at rivers and joining various nature-related events near the Pune rivers. So lastly, I want to just introduce the key contributors in tree mapping. These were people from Nisarga Sevak, from Pune Pimpri Chinchwad River Revival and Jeevat Nadi. There were many other individuals and also college students from Symbiosis and other colleges who mapped biodiversity as part of their environmental internships. And then here's also the group that developed the EpiCollect 5 project. And in bird observations, we had a systematic fauna documentation team, and then individuals who submitted checklists of the birds at Mula Riverbank near RMC. There was a great backyard bird count walk. These are the coordinators here you can see. And then there's also some Gen Z birders active at RMC. Yes, thank you. Thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you. So what you just now saw were all the stars of Pune River Revival. And I saw the message by Shubha a bit late that I should introduce about our group. So Pune River Revival is a group of concerned citizens as well as various organizations in Pune who mainly work for rivers and who want rivers to be clean, healthy, naturally beautiful, and with rich biodiversity. And we are all working towards that. We are all working towards rights of rivers. And as you see that these are some of the activities that we have been doing. Before we take questions, we would like to let you know that all these activities really need fund, and actually these are all voluntary activities. Everybody is spending their own time, and they are all passionate, and that's why they're working towards this. But we have heard a lot about this breakfast that everybody has talked about and how they are bonding together. So at least to be able to provide this breakfast, or if we are calling any experts to be able to at least give them the cost of commute, we really need funds. So please do contribute, do donate generously, and you can see the Razorpay link in the chat box. So I would request you to do the best that you can, and also let your friends and family know that this is something very important and they can donate to this cause. Another thing I saw here was a very good discussion regarding the biodiversity, whether it should be restricted only to trees and birds, or we should also talk about other life forms, insects and butterflies. And so Samir Pathe is here. Can somebody unmute him? Samir, do you want to actually explain this, because you would be if you can talk now, because you would be
So
able to take.
Prajakta, just before that, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So actually, I'd like to acknowledge, the entire team because they've done a phenomenal effort. And besides the people who presented, there are a lot of other people who have consistently and worked both providing leadership and providing expertise. So already we have given the credit. But two names I would like to take, but not to reduce the significance of any others. But Akanksha and Ajay. So they were the stars of this initiative campaign right from day one to, I mean, it is still going on. I think the work which they did was just matchless because they had to actually contact each and every person who was going to come and make sure these spots were available. They were making recce's, checking. And Akanksha had come up with this very unique initiative, this thing that to get people over Townscript. So she started putting this event on Townscript, which I think is something unique, which was never done earlier, which was never thought of earlier. She came up with this brilliant idea. And then she followed it up consistently because people who come on Townscript, we don't know where they're coming from, who are these people, we have to trust them. And we have to give them assurance also that what they're coming is, it's safe. And also she took that uh, whatever responsibility. Ajay used to go on doing recce's, so that people are, it's that again those places are accessible. So these people today, they didn't come in the forefront, but they are true leaders for this initiative, and that gives us a lot of confidence that this can be done repeatedly by any one of us. If we have that responsibility, if we have that passion, it is truly inspiring.
Yeah.
And thanks a lot, Akanksha and Ajay. And like Prajakta rightly said, we will have more of these initiatives going on. We have much more river stretches in the city. And please do
Also,
come.
Sanjeev and Sanjeev, Aarti, and Ajay
Aarti hai.
have
Yeah. So we have been
Aarti,
doing for
Sanjeev, and
many years,
Ajay.
but the way these people have come and done it is amazing. Yeah.
Amit Raj
Yeah.
also, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and
Raj.
especially the bird part. So because the Aarti and Ajay and Sanjeev keep going to the river and keep constantly documenting whatever is there. So maximum observations are from them. Also the photos. And also Vishwatej, we have acknowledged him, but Vishwatej has some really brilliant photos he has taken on the river. So
Correct,
Yes.
correct.
And Rinal Didi for starting all this along with Prajakta Tai, Amit Raj Dada, Shailaja Tai. Matlab, needless
Yeah, I
to
mean, all
say
these
all these
leaders.
names, but still,
Correct,
let's
correct.
say once.
We have
And
we have
Prashant, who
really
came at the end, Prashant, who is
Oh yeah,
actually
Prashant sir, our
Prashant
he's
has
again
done
he's
data
a person
wizard.
who said
Yeah.
he will not come and speak, but he is
Yes.
the backbone of all the data
Yeah.
analysis which we are going to do. And based on his passion, we have now embarked on a new one called hydrology monitoring. That's again going to be a crowd citizen initiative. So there's plenty of such opportunities for people who are passionate and want to come out and do something for nature. And what we are doing, so we have a lot of these citizen initiatives. Again, I don't want to downgrade anyone, which are going on in other cities, which are going on here, but they are always involving experts, and then they do it. But this, whatever we did, actually is helping us for the movement and helping us for specific causes. Otherwise it just becomes documentation for the sake of documentation. This is really going beyond that, just plain and simple documentation with just experts. It's going much more beyond. Bhaskar is also here. He also did a lot of bird watching, so I'll acknowledge him also. Yeah, that's.
So
I just wanted to say.
we have a lot of heroes, and we might have even missed some, but we
Yeah.
have a lot of activities and lot of heroes. But we still need more because we have a lot more stretches and lot more rivers in Pune and PCMC. So we hope that this session inspires everybody else to join and lead the way. We have seen how Ajay, Akanksha, and all our other tree experts, like whether it's Jayashree or Mrinal or whoever, who could come forward and help us.
So some of the
Can we
questions
now,
we can
can we
start
just
with.
have 2-3 minutes with where Samir, because he's online, he can explain, because he has very important points that he can explain, which we would like to go ahead with when we continue our work.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so first and foremost, yeah, this is a really wonderful initiative to see like so many citizen scientists coming forward and documenting everything, which is like much needed, and we have so many data gaps that we see on GBIF when we are using data mobilization tools. My only humble 2 cents here is try to document everything. So, and you will come across so many wonderful forms and wonderful insects and wonderful animals, plants, that it will add to the data from a citizen science perspective, which can be used by anyone and everyone. So this is a fantastic initiative, and I'm like totally, whenever you need any help, you can just reach out and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Like we have been doing with Shailaja Tai, by publishing and putting out this data for anyone to use. These are only my 2 cents. Thank you.
And as Samir has mentioned, even if we cannot recognize all these life forms, even if we can just take pictures, then that can be identified later. So I think one of the takeaways I would say is that, because Prashant is also in the call, he hasn't switched on his camera, but Prashant, maybe we can have some way of EpiCollect project to document these other life forms, wherein we do not have to enter names, but the names can be updated later, because we have experts like Samir with us, so we can maybe get some help.
Shalvi has a question. You can go ahead, Shalvi.
Yeah, shall we please go ahead?
Shalvi, you can unmute. I have said, okay.
Yes, yes. Okay, hi everyone. First of all, the work you have done is amazing and very much needed. So I was able to join for one of the tree mapping sessions, but I'll soon join a few more. Regarding the data that is collected, I just wanted to know if all this is uploaded on iNaturalist, how useful that would be. So if anyone, so I have used iNaturalist, but maybe we can check how this can benefit us or may not. So that is
Yeah,
something that I would
actually,
like to add.
naturalists actually can be very good. And
Yeah,
in the sense, especially for faunal mapping, we should actually now, since we
right.
once we start post monsoon from September, October, we start faunal mapping again. We should just create an INAT project for this, and so that anybody who goes to the river at any time can just take photos and upload on that INAT project, so that there will be a constant documentation. Because for you can see that for birds it was so easy because of eBird. Whoever goes to the river just puts their checklist on eBird, and we in 5 minutes literally I just downloaded this data, and we already knew what is how many species are there, how many scheduled species are there, how many conservation priority species are there. So if we put that on INAT, it will be very easy. So we can actually, it's very easy to create a project on INAT. And then anybody who goes to the river takes a photo and uploads it on that project. So we have a constant database of, which is constantly being updated on INAT.
Yes, right. So I think so I've tried creating a project for some other initiatives, for some
Yeah,
the projects. So
yeah,
we can add members to it, and
yes,
multiple
we
people
can.
can just
We can.
add data. The locations are there.
Yes.
So I think that would be helpful as
Yeah,
well, right?
it will be in fact very, very helpful, especially for the smaller fauna, like what Samir is
Right.
saying for invertebrate fauna. It will be very helpful for having an iNaturalist project.
Right. I think it records the coordinates as well, right, of the photo
It
that is
does,
taken.
it does. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Kedar.
Prashant, I think because of the tree data, Prashant has done the
Yeah,
analysis, so
Prashant sir
Prashant
can
should
answer
do
this.
this.
Yeah.
Prashant had said that he cannot talk, but he
हॅलो
was,
हॅलो
that was replying.
मराठीमध्ये एक्सप्लेन करू का?
हो हो
जरूर जरूर
Oh,
नक्कीच.
please, please.
शॅनॉन विनर इंडेक्स जो आहे तो एक फॉर्म्युलाने काढला जातो, ज्याचा आहे जो फॉर्म्युला समेशन ऑफ पाय इंटू लॉग ऑफ पाय. तर जी पायची व्हॅल्यू असते ती एक प्रत्येक डिफरंट स्पेसिससाठी आपण काढत असतोय. म्हणजे सपोज करंजसाठी जर काढायची असेल तर करंजचे नंबर ऑफ ट्रीज डिवायडेड बाय त्या एरियामध्ये जितके ट्रीज कॅल्क्युलेट केले तर त्याने डिवाइड करायचं, मग त्याची व्हॅल्यू येते पायची. तर ती पाय इंटू लॉग पाय न करंटची व्हॅल्यू निघते. अशा प्रत्येक जेवढे पण ट्री स्पेसिस आपल्याला ऑब्झर्व झालेत त्या सगळ्याची व्हॅल्यू काढायची आणि त्याचं सगळ्याचं समेशन करायचं, मग ती व्हॅल्यू येते. आणि ती साधारण 0 to 5 या रेंजमध्ये मोजली जाते. 0 म्हणजे खूप वाईट असतं, ज्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला डायव्हर्सिटी नाही भेटत तेवढी, आणि 5 म्हणजे खूप चांगली डायव्हर्सिटी. आपला नंबर 2.24 आहे, जो खूप चांगला नंबर आहे. पण खूप चांगला म्हणजे आपण जेवढं पुणे शहराला आपण म्हणतोय की एवढं पोल्युटेड आहे, एवढं कॉन्क्रिटायझेशन झालंय, अर्बनायझेशन झालंय, एवढी वृक्षतोड सुरू आहे, तर त्याच्या कम्पेअरमध्ये तो चांगला आहे. ओव्हरऑल जर बघितलं तर आपण रेड लाईनच्या दिशेनं चाललोय. थोडंफार जरी डिस्ट्रक्शन झालं तर आपण रेड झोन मध्ये जातोय. तर हा सगळ्या ट्री स्पेसिस साठी काढलेला इंडेक्स आहे.
अच्छा, आतापर्यंत जेवढ्या
Yeah.
मॅप केलं त्या सगळ्याचा मिळून काढलेला इंडेक्स आहे.
हा 3483 3483 ट्री साठी काढलेला इंडेक्स.
वंडरफुल.
Hello, am I audible?
येस, प्रशांत बोल.
In brief, so basically we got that epicalic data as CSV, and then I just wrote some Python code to find a Shannon-Wiener index. So these are 89 species. So Hmax is ln89, say around 4.5 or so. And then there are some dominant species. Current is 40%, and so on. So we got 2.25 or something, which is not obviously not a good forest. Forest will be 3 to 5 or above. But for right in the heart of the city, it looks pretty good.
Okay, Samir is also suggesting to do a site-wise analysis. So maybe that is a good idea. We can do that also.
Yeah. So location is there, so we can do that also. IVA and all. I mean, we didn't go to that extent, but yes, that is possible.
So Samir, this data is actually for a 3 kilometer, around 3.7 kilometer stretch, which is sort of, along one sort of bank of the river. So it can actually be treated as one site because, we are mapping a particular bank where right now the riverfront is coming up. And maybe we can do this separately for the tree data at RMC and like you're saying for, any other banks that we start mapping.
Yeah. So if you can help us out, that will be nice because we don't have that much experience. So for example, this is 23 hectares and about 3.7 kilometers. But to do 90 kilometers will obviously be impossible. It will take years. So maybe if you can help us how to do a quadrat-like thing, that will be nice.
And we will, I think, get in touch with Samir. We should have a detailed discussion with Samir to get a lot of help on this. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, correct. What we would like to know, Prashant, you really made a very nice pointers about the indexes, What maybe if not this time, sometime later, we can try to find out what each index mean to common citizens,
Yeah, sure.
So that way, maybe time to
Prajakta, we could have a
disseminate, but
session on
sometime
this,
later we can
one of the Wednesday sessions.
Sure.
Yeah, some interpretation of these. Yeah.
नक्कीच घेऊया.
So yes, that's what I wanted to know, Prashant. The indices that you have mentioned in the chart, about the Shannon Wiener and the carbon sequestration, and there are numbers to it. What do they mean?
So
Okay.
actually, Mrinal,
So-
what we were saying is that about these numbers and these indices and their meanings, we can have a separate session.
Correct. That's what
Yeah,
I
so
was
very broadly,
suggesting.
these
Yeah.
are about biodiversity. How diverse is the whole thing?
So we
I
can
mean,
have another
this is
session for that, definitely.
Right. So big applause to all our stars. Some were visible today and some were not visible. Not
Amazing.
in
Kudos
front
to
of
all.
the
Hats off.
camera. Kudos to all.
साष्टांग नमस्कार.
We
खरोखर खूप
had
मेहनत
a
घेतलेली आहे उन्हात
star-studded
आणायची.
session today. And hope we have inspired more people and we will have more volunteers and we'll be able to do more work. Great job, everybody. Not only job, the presentation was also pretty good. So thank you for participating. We have these sessions every Wednesday. So please join us again next Wednesday for our webinar by Pune River Revival. And if you have missed any of our previous sessions, they are available on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and look for Pune River Revival. And there is a playlist called as Wednesday Webinars. And you can catch up and learn a lot of things. I'm sure you'll be really enriched. So thank you. Good night and see you next Wednesday.